What's up? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Peace in. Welcome to another edition of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm your host, Tony Ray Harvey, podcaster broadcasting right here in the southwest part of Sacramento, the Greenhaven pocket area. Let's get right down into it. Doug Christie, that's your guy. That's your guy. No doubt about that. Okay? I'm not going to dismiss that. I'm not going to discount that. I'm not going to discard that. Not this season. But I will have to say, all credit to Doug tonight, I'm still not impressed. And what I'm saying is I'm not impressed with this team, especially what they did the other night over there in Memphis. The Sacramento Kings did win tonight. They won 128-123 in Denver, okay, to end a 5-game road trip, all right? And they also ended an 8-game losing streak. Perfect. Needed that. But I'm not impressed. Okay. The heroes of this game was the veterans who fared really, really bad the last game. But they bounced back because that's what they are. Professionals, veterans who've been in this league long enough. Okay. You don't let that ride. You just don't roll up on nobody's set and just get blasted out the place like that. You did that. Okay. So you needed that win. They lit the beam tonight at Golden One Center. First time since the Kings beat the Golden State Warriors a couple weeks ago. You needed that, but I'm not impressed. Okay, maybe I will be impressed when you get back here Monday, November 24th, and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, who has already beat you already twice. All right, so you got 2-1 on the Nuggets. You needed that. I don't think you see them again for a while. I only know if you see them again on the schedule. I have to check that out. All right, but you do have one more against another nemesis who've been kicking your butt around too, and that is the Timberwolves. So let's just see what happened with that. Russell Westbrook, it must be personal stuff like that because he got it going on. He had it going in the fourth quarter. He scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, so he basically delivered the win for the Sacramento Kings to end that 8-game losing streak. And DeMar DeRozan, he did his part at the end of the game too, as far as hitting a couple key baskets, including a couple two free throws to seal the deal. So Russell Westbrook, he scored 17 points in the final quarter to help the Sacramento Kings beat the Denver Nuggets 128-123 on the road and end the 8-game losing streak at Ball Arena. The 17-year veteran, I might as well say going into his 18th year, he was 9 of 16 shooting from the field, 2 of 6 beyond the arc, and 1 or 2 at the free throw line for 21 points tonight. He also added 11 assists and 6 rebounds, 1 steal and 1 block in less than 30 minutes for the Kings, who are now 4-13. Dennis Schröder, he came off the bench. He had 21 points. He bounced back too. He was 0 for 8, shooting against Memphis and stuff like that. He's another one of these veterans too that had to step up, and he did his part tonight as well. So the Kings, they flipped the script after getting beat by Memphis, losing 137-96 the other day on November 20th. In the starters role, Keegan did start tonight. He had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block in 36 minutes for the Kings. He also made 7 of 14 shots from the floor, 3 of 8 from three-point distance, and he was 2 of 2 at the foul line. Okay, definitely made a big difference. The Kings look big now. Now they look big. Okay, there even was one point when I would say that they had Precious Achiuwa and Keegan on the floor. Precious did come off the bench, and Drew Eubanks. All 3 of them out there on the floor. They looking big now. So that was a quick adjustment for Doug Christie and his coaching staff. Badly needed, and it worked out tonight in a lot of areas. Okay, and that floor was spaced tonight, and a lot of that had to do with Keegan Murray, because Keegan Murray was playing inside outside, and he did his thing. So seems like he's getting on track. It's still gonna take a little while. So if you have a bad game the next game, I'm not gonna start throwing darts at him or nothing like that. But I do want him, to try to be consistent here, since the Sacramento Kings are in a bad situation. I think it was an 8-man rotation for most of the game, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to make sure this is clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did play. Doug did go 5 deep. He did go 10 deep. 10 deep after the starters. And Precious came off the bench. Maxime, whoa, boy, man, that first half. Maxime Reynard, he was he had 6 points. He was 3 for 5 from the field. Let's see, he had 1 steal and 3 rebounds. 3 rebounds. Okay, he only played 8 minutes, but those 8 minutes was really effective. He was really effective. I'm liking what this rookie doing, backing up Drew Eubanks while DeMontis Sabonis is going to be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Dennis Schröder, as I said, he had that 21 points. Malik Monk, he played 26 minutes. Nique Clifford only played 9 minutes, but he was effective too in a couple ways. He hit a big 3 down the stretch that the Kings needed in the fourth quarter. Of course, he did play in front of his hometown crowd in Denver, Colorado. So, and that was it. That was it. Of course, there was going to be an odd man out. I already knew that, a couple days ago. Tonight was Keon Ellis. Of course, I would like to see Keon out on the bench, but there's not going to be enough minutes to go around. All right. And these rookies are definitely going to, get as much time as they can, at least with a team like this, they're 4-13. So all this, they're going to be minutes staggered around and stuff like that. And Keon going to get some time on the floor. There are going to be some instances where he does get out on the floor, but there's not going to be a lot of time there. All right. If he gets in there for about 1 or 2 minutes, it's only to give somebody a break so they can get a breather real quick. It won't be anything as far as a strategy or anything like that. But I would like to see him play, but you still got too many guards on the squad. And I think head coach Doug Christie know where everything stand. And I'm pretty sure Keon know where everything stand too. Just be ready. Just stay ready. Okay. Keegan Murray, 19 points in his second game back. DeMar DeRozan, he had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 block. He made all 7 attempts from the charity stripe, including those 2 key baskets with 6 seconds remaining in the game to seal the victory in the fourth quarter. Right on. Nikola Jokic, the Joker, 44 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists for the Nuggets, who fall to 12-4. They still second place in the Western Conference behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's only lost 1 game through 15, 16 games. All right. Matter of fact, Denver did play last night. They was in a tough game with the Houston Rockets where they won 112-109. They was on the road, so those legs was kind of a little weary. And the Kings were moving that ball around, making them run, making them move every time they were on the court. So that helped out a lot too. Jamal Murray, he did have 23 points, 9 assists, and 2 rebounds, while Cam Johnson added 21 points, 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Peyton Watson, the other starter, he had 15 points for the Nuggets. All right. Like I said, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I am a little bit at ease, okay, because you were able to light the beam before you came back home, because if you came back home 0-5 on this road trip after that beating from the Grizzlies, I don't know. But that's not going to happen. At least you get to come back and rest for a little bit and try to, steal one from the Minnesota Timberwolves. You needed that win, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. But I'm not impressed. Beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then maybe we'll have, a change of heart. But in the meantime, this is the deal. Okay. The Kings, yes, they do look a little bit bigger with Murray up in there. We did see a little moment when he was paired with Pressure Achua, and the Kings are so I wouldn't say lucky, but it's a good thing that they picked him up. They signed him, and he can be part of this youth movement, going forward. He's only 25, 26 years old, and he adds a lot of value to this team. When they play the way they did last night, the ball was moving. Man, the ball was moving. Let me look at a little bit of the tail of the tape to expand on that. Let's see here. I know that the assist level was up. They did have 32 assists. Yes, they did have 32 assists. They only had 37 rebounds. Okay, I'm okay with that. How many points did they have in the paint? Let's see what they had in the paint, which they were dominating too. Okay, the Kings' biggest lead was 9, and the Nuggets' biggest lead was 13. All right. Oh, the Kings had 62 points in the paint to the Denver Nuggets 54. But as I said, the Joker he did all the damage on that side, for Denver to get those 54 points. All right. The Kings had 25 second chance points to the Nuggets 15. Hell, they had 23 fast break points to the Nuggets 8. So that looks a lot better. Lot better. Okay. And the Nuggets only had 38 rebounds themselves. The Kings had 8 steals in this game. And they only turned the ball over 6 times. 6 times. But Doug Christie, that's your guy. That's your guy. I know it's been tough, these 17 games out and stuff, but, it's been a little up and down, a little roll, but it's going to take a little, as he said the other night, it's going to be bad until it gets better. I'll go with what I heard on the radio show just the other day with Jerry Reynolds when he was talking to Jay Johnson and Kevin Gleason. It can't get much worse than this. And it shouldn't. But I'm still not impressed. Beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then we have something to talk about. Maybe I'll flip over. Maybe I'll flip the script. Okay? String together a few wins. Let's see what happens. Because I'm not going to forget that Memphis game. No. And the reason why I say that, you're not going to be playing with my emotions. 1 minute, y'all looking like world beaters, and the next day, hey, let's take another day off and again. No, that's not going to happen. And I know how it is when you guys come back from a road trip anyway. At least the Sacramento Kings, how those games play out. So, no, I'm going to wait on that. I am definitely going to wait on that. All right. Okay, well, say here the Nuggets, they executed 5 shots in 3-point territory and a 3-point play by Tim Hardaway to lead 22-16 in the opening quarter. The Kings came back to tie the game up at 28 on a basket by Achua, but the Nuggets broke free to finish the frame on a 7-2 run. The Nuggets led 43-35 early part of the second quarter until an 8-0 run, capped by a dunk by Malik Monk, cut the margin to 2 points. Denver rolled back with the 13-6 trot, ended it by a basket by Watson at the 4:15 mark. The Kings charged back to cut the margin to 1 on a basket by Levine, but the Nuggets managed to get out of the first half with a 65-61 lead. The Kings made 13 attempts at the line in the first half. Okay, that was a good free throw shooting. And collectively, they dished out 17 assists in the first half. The Nuggets, they were 8 of 18 shots behind. They made 8 of 18 shots behind the arc in the first half, and they had 19 assists in the first half as a unit. Right. Okay, so Kings were behind by 13 points in the third quarter. Okay. Then they staged a 13-5 run. They came back to tie the game 84-all on the basket by Schröder. Okay. The German would score on a triple to give the Kings a 1-point advantage late in the third quarter, but Jokic's basket was the last point scored, and the Nuggets led 92-91 after 3 quarters. Okay. The Nuggets led 98-94 after Murray made a triple early in the final quarter. They took the Kings came back to take over the lead after Clifford made a trey. That was one of those key trades. That was only his only basket in the game, and they never trailed again. They never trailed again. I think they were up. They should have been up like 97, 90, 98, 97, or 97, 96 to be exact. When did Clifford hit that basket? Because that was a key basket. Okay. That's when Russell went off the bat. Okay, yeah. They were up 99-98 when Nique hit that triple. And after that, it was all Russell Westbrook with a sprinkle little bit of Keegan Murray and DeMar DeRozan. Impressive win, but I'm not impressed. Okay, only thing that's telling me that y'all pride kind of got to you. Are we just going to let this happen? And we've been playing this basketball game all our lives on all type of levels. If that's what's going to happen here, it didn't. You stepped up. You stepped up at the right time too, right before you came home, right before you stepped back up on that plane, right before you head back to Sacramento. All right, which you're only another time zone away. The Mountain Time Zone should ease a lot of that too. Coming back here. I'll just leave it at that. Sacramento Kings, they win 128-123 in Ball Arena. They beat the Denver Nuggets, and the Nuggets were without Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, who's I think Christian Brown is out with a hamstring. Aaron Gordon, I forget what he was out. It's like 3 key players, including those 2 that were out. And that's how you do it. Okay, they coming off a back-to-back. Get them while it's, while they still trying to think about going back to sleep or something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to keep this, too much longer though, folks. As I said, I'm definitely going to keep it under 25 hours. But yeah, size matter. Okay. Achua and Murray out on the floor together. Good. Looking good. Okay. There was a one time when DeRozan, he got a block on Jokic, and then he got the steal, and then he passed the ball off to Malik Monk. That was at the 4:21 mark of the third quarter. That was a key play as well. That's when I kind of felt like, they feeling it. They feeling themselves, because if the.mark can do something like that on the defensive end, they're playing as a unit. They are playing as a unit. I'll say it again. Shoot, man, Russell looked like he had something personal going on with Denver and stuff, and he let them know verbally. His expression and his gestures, it's part of the game, I guess. I am impressed with him. I'm definitely impressed with him. The Kings played, they played big. And as I said, Maxime Renaud, Maxime Renaud, big plus. He's proven that he should have been drafted in the first round. That's all behind us right now. Okay. Of course, there's been a lot of things said the past couple of days, and trust me, I don't care who or whatever they said. The Kings definitely deserve it, and I'm talking about from certain members who cover the Kings, reporters and bloggers. So whatever was said on social media, whatever was said on the radios, on airways, television, was warranted, because that loss the other night should not happen that way. It should not happen that way. But I do not believe that Doug Christie is set up to fail. I can't believe that. Okay. And the reason why I say that, at least for these home games, Vivek Ranadive, he knows better. He's a businessman. All right. Ain't nobody going to set Doug Christie up to fail. And I'm trying to sell seats. I'm trying to put bodies in these seats. I'm not going to make them dollars. Okay. And we know those ticket prices already high as it is. All right. So, when you got some people still willing to come out to the game, depending on the product, why would I take that out on the coach? What are we trying to do here? Okay. This team, the roster is not the best. All right. And if they keep losing the way they do, that's definitely we're going to keep people away from Golden One Center, G1C. All right. But I just can't see that. I just can't see that. Okay, because if anybody probably would know, Doug would know. Okay, I think you would get the feeling that, hey, something ain't right here. I'm not getting everything that I need. Even though I don't like to use the word even, though that the cards that were dealt to me, I can work with them. That's how you feel. Okay, that's how you feel. He feel that confident. All right, and he's a competitor himself. Nobody want to go in there and lose, and be, no. I know if I was set up to fail, okay, I know if I was set up and somebody else taking the credit, I know that, and I'm not doing that. I done been through all of that, okay? I will not be gentrified. No, I will not be gentrified. But in terms of looking at this situation, I just don't think that's happening. Anyway, folks, I do want to thank you for tuning in for another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm the host, Tony Ray Harvey. I will be back after the next road game. Let's see, the Kings have 2 more games at home. They played Timberwolves, and then on the 26th, they play, who do they play? The Phoenix Suns at home, and then there's Thanksgiving, and then they go back on the road for one. Man, I'm not saying Houston, but anyway, I'm not going to say that. But they got 2 more. They got a 2-game homestand, 2-game set here at home, and then they go on the road again. So you won't see me again until another road game. And let's hope there's some good things in between, now and in between that time. I'm not impressed, but like I said, change my heart. Change the fans' heart, more or less. Do that, okay? I know you're not worried about me, but do it for the city. Do it for the city of Sacramento, the city of trees. I'm out of here. Peace.